wanted to share a quick video with you and share some tips for getting the best family photos possible. I know that right now is the season. I used to be a family photographer and this was my busiest season, fall. People getting in those fall family pictures, getting pictures for their Christmas cards. So it's a crazy busy picture season. So I just wanted to share a little bit of advice because I do feel like I have a somewhat unique perspective in that I've been the photographer and I'm also a mom of 8 kids, so I know the struggle, you know, I know the struggle. But before we jump into the 10 tips, I just had to share with y'all super quickly that Rakuten is now doing $40 as their bonus when you sign up. So I've been sharing about Rakuten for years. This is not sponsored. We're gonna talk later about outfits and things for family pictures. And I know a lot of people are doing online shopping for Christmas. I know I am. I have been using Rakuten for years. Basically, you get cash back for purchases you make online through retailers. They have different percentages. Sometimes they'll be double percentage on this, you know, 2% on Sephora, 6% on Old Navy, or 10% J. Crew or Walmart or something like that. And I have the little interface on my browser window. I always make sure, especially if I'm going to make somewhat of a larger purchase, that I check Rakuten to see if it integrates and there's any extra cash back or whatnot. And it's basically like getting free money because once a quarter they send you a check with all of your cash back savings. You know, you'll earn money on credit cards and things like that. You'll get percentage points back. It's like that. It's super easy to enroll. Like I said, I've been using them for at least 5 years at this point. So I've never had any problems or issues. I feel comfortable recommending them to you guys. Normally, it's anywhere from $10, $15 as like a bonus that you get when you sign up, but right now they made that bonus $40. It's $40. That's like 4 $10 gifts, okay? If you did like stocking stuffers or smaller gifts or something, that's like 4 gifts covered right there. $40 from Rakuten. I just had to share with y'all because they only do this, I believe, once a year where they offer $40. So I could be wrong, maybe twice, but it's not more than once or twice a year. So I'll have the link down below in the description box to sign up. It's seriously so worth it, so easy, and once a quarter I get a check that I'm not even expecting, and it's fun money, you know? All right, so let's talk about family pictures. The first tip is hire a professional if you can, okay? I know that it's not within everybody's budget to hire a professional, but if you can, I would highly recommend it. The difference in what you're gonna receive as a product is just, well, it just really can't even be quantified sometimes. And photography is often, not always, but is very often like most things in that you get what you pay for. If you search for the cheapest photographer out there that charges 50 bucks, you're probably not gonna get a stellar result. I'm not saying every photographer that's cheap is bad, but statistically speaking, you're gonna find that when you bargain hunt for something like photography, ultimately you're just gonna kind of get what you pay for. But when looking for hiring that photographer, I recommend to consider ahead of time. Do you want a photographer that does more posed type photos? Are you more formal? Is your family more formal? Do you know that you want more of a formal looking photo to, you know, blow up or print in your house or send out as Christmas cards? Do you like that look where everyone is sitting in posed and smiling? Or do you prefer more of a lifestyle? Do you like the more free-flowing, laughing, you know, giggling, tickling each other, maybe, you know, not everyone's even looking at the camera, that sort of thing, the very lifestyle feel. But you will find that photographers typically have a preference in how they like to do things. And so you want to make sure that you know that going into it. Again, everything, and I feel like I say this with everything in life, it's all about expectations, okay? If you have expectations that go unmet, you'll be unsatisfied with the result. You just need to make sure you're calibrating those expectations based on the photographer that you hire. Of course, also looking at whether or not they offer digital files or just prints. So most photographers these days are offering some kind of digital package, but there are still some photographers whose business model is to take the pictures, you come in for a viewing session, you see the photos, and they help you put together really beautiful products to hang on your wall, give as gifts, canvases, wall hangings, framed pieces of art. Those are going to be typically your higher end photographers where the price point is going to be a bit higher, but you need to know ahead of time if your expectation is that you're getting all the pictures on a CD. People who do CDs anymore, but if your expectation is that you're getting all the pictures digitally, but their package is like, okay, you get 5 digital images, but then you have to, either buy the rest or do prints or whatever. Just make sure you're aware of that. Some photographers have a fully digital model where they do no prints at all, just everything digital. So just know that's another thing to consider when you're looking for a good photographer. Tip number 2 is to coordinate your outfits, not match. Now, of course, there have been trends over the years. I feel like everyone and their mother has done the khaki pants and white shirt on the beach type photo look. And if that is your thing, understand that the advice I'm giving you is not to disparage your decision to do a matching outfits where everyone matches. I just took a picture the other day of my whole family all wearing matching pajamas. I think it's precious. But it's matching Christmas pajamas. It's already kitschy in and of itself, so I'm okay with the kitschiness of us all matching. But when it comes to sort of stylized family sessions, the policy that I always shared with my clients, I would send them sort of a prep booklet ahead of time that went through all of my policies and then suggestions on day of and outfits and all of that kind of stuff. I'm holding this sock because I'm using it to kill flies, because there's a lot of flies in here right now and they're driving me crazy. So I've got this sock as a weapon, if you're wondering why I'm holding a sock. Anyways, but what I have always found looks best is when we just coordinate. You pick a color palette and you go off of that. It gives you a ton of freedom and wiggle room in finding clothes that fit, that are on sale, that are good prices. You don't feel backed into a corner that everyone has to wear the same thing. It allows people to be a little bit expressive, wear things that feel more like them. I just feel like coordinating, it's one of my favorite parts of family photos, is coordinating the outfits all together. It's just really fun. And of course, I'm going to link for you guys in the description box a link to some family outfit suggestions. But if you go to Pinterest, brace yourself, because you'll get more ideas than you probably even need. But it's a really fun, it's fun. I think it's fun. Okay, I think it's fun. My next tip is to pick your outfit. If your mom watching this, if your dad watching this, go ask your wife. If your mom watching this, pick your outfit first and then build everyone's around that. Now, the reason that I say that, unless you just like have something you've fallen in love with for one of your children or whatnot, the reason I say this is because in many cases your outfit is going to be the hardest one, just because this is just the way that we are, okay? In years and years of photographing families, I've seen this over and over and over again. So you need to pick an outfit that we're kind of meshing a few tips together here, but just hear me out. You need to pick an outfit that you feel comfortable in, that feels like you, that you feel flatters your body and that you feel comfortable in. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Mom needs to feel good and feel well put together, and I think that confidence, like, we've talked about so many times, like you're the GOAT, right? And this confidence, it bleeds out onto everyone around you. So you just feeling good, liking what you're wearing, feeling positive and good that day is gonna be good for everyone else too. So it may sound selfish to say pick your outfit first, but it's actually because what it ends up doing is ensuring that you are not stressed out. You have no reason to be frazzled that day, and you can just kind of focus on getting everybody else situated. I don't even know what number we're on at this point because I keep combining them, but in total there's around 10. The point is so now that you've picked your outfit, so like I said, consider what you feel good in, what you feel is a flattering look for you, and some things I want you to think about when you're thinking about your outfit, okay? Because we can tend to imagine ourselves in something. We see someone else wearing something and we think, oh my God, that's so cute. And then we put it on and somehow it just doesn't look quite the same on us, probably because we have a completely different body type than the person we saw wearing it. But some things I want you to consider, okay? Number one, does this outfit require you to be standing and looking a very certain way for it to look good? If you put this outfit on, let's say, and it's like a super tight top and baggy pants or something, but you know that you can only be photographed from the front in it like this, smiling, so you can suck in and do all the weird things that we women like to do in photos, like pull your chin up and suck in, which makes us look so weird, but women are notoriously doing these things in family pictures. But let's just say the photographer gets more of that candid lifestyle shot and you're from the side and you're laughing, and you know you're gonna hate that photo because you got the muffin top going in the back. You know you're gonna hate that photo unless you are photographed in said outfit from a certain angle. Just don't do that. Pick something that you feel comfortable in. Like I said, especially if you're doing lifestyle photos, you're gonna probably be bent down, scrunched down. If this is like, a super tight fitting top or something, I don't care how skinny you are, everybody, that when you sit down you get rolls. If it's gonna bother you to see those in the photo because the shot just happened to be that way, don't wear that. Wear something that you'd really feel comfortable in, that you feel like you can move around in. You're gonna be picking up kids and all of that. Just, you don't wanna wear something too fussy. Now the other thing you wanna consider again is that you don't really know how you're always gonna be standing, okay? Just the other day I saw this in my old photography group. Lovely woman, classy woman wearing this really pretty top and like a pencil looking skirt, standing. Her husband was over here, their baby was in between them, and she was kind of like kneeled down, so her feet were on the ground and she was kind of like sitting with her butt on her heels. Does that make sense? Like kneeled down like this. And the shot is from the front and she's kneeled down, this baby's standing in between them and her husband's right here. And you can see her full on Queen Mother. You know what I'm saying? Like right up the skirt, straight to the Queen Mother. And the photographer was like, help, how do I Photoshop this? It was shocking. It was like, whoa. But it's not something that, you know, I'm sure the mom was not thinking about that at all. She's just thinking about squatting down, talking to her cute little baby, and she just moved her legs ever so slightly, and bam, there you go. And a photographer is looking at that kid. We're looking for that expression, we're looking for that smile, we're looking for that giggle, especially if it's a kid you really got to work for it for. And especially when they're going to like cull and edit photos, they're like, oh, the kid looks perfect at this. Oh, the kid looks so cute. And you know, then you're like, oh geez, I didn't even notice. Queen Mother's hanging out. Think about all these things, okay? As far as your makeup goes, if you are a makeup wearer, if you're not, don't worry about it. I don't think that getting family photos is or should be the first time you decide to put on makeup if you don't normally wear it. But if you do normally wear it and you wear, you know, a fair amount of it, and you're thinking about makeup for family pictures, a few things I would consider is one, to go heavier with your makeup than you think that you should. But I say that with a few caveats. Make sure when you step outside, look, have your husband look, have someone check that your foundation and everything matches and is blended and you're not gonna have like a floating orange or white head. But you just wanna go a little bit heavier on the bronzer, a little bit heavier on the blush. It just doesn't show up as much in photos. But what you don't want to do is test out a whole lot of new looks that day. Stick with a look that you like, you know works for you. And my advice is pretty typically to avoid, like, this is not the day to bust out the smoky eye, okay? Like, the smoky eye is hard enough anyways to get right and not look like a raccoon, but don't bust out the smoky eye on picture day. Save the smoky eye for date night or something like that, where you're gonna get laid even if you look terrible. You know what I'm saying? Don't use it for family pictures. Try to keep your makeup as you as possible, but just a little bit more than you are used to wearing on a daily basis. But also consider things like wearing sticky lip glosses. If it's even so slightly windy outside, your hair is gonna fly in your face and stick in your lip gloss, and that's gonna be annoying the entire session. So just avoid sticky lip glosses altogether. Okay, my next tip is, if you're going to help the photographer, ask them what to do, where to stand, all of that. Parents are notorious for wanting to help get their kid to smile, right? Photographers hunkered down, talking to your, you know, little 18-month-old, hey buddy, hey, you know, making all the noises and faces. And you as a parent are trying to help get this child to smile, but parents often will like stand over here or over there. And it's like, no. If you're going to help, you have to get directly behind me. Like literally, you have to put your head on my shoulder so that the child is looking right here at the camera. Otherwise, you're just gonna make them look off and away, which is sometimes cute for a photo, but people don't want a bunch of pictures of their child smiling up to the distance. They want that like looking at the camera, smiling picture. So if you want to help, I'm sure your photographer would appreciate it, especially if they've got a stubborn little one that's not wanting to look or smile. But just be sure that you're paying attention and asking the photographer how you can help, where to stand, what to do. Ask, yes. Okay, the next one, schedule at a good time for your family, okay? It can be very tempting to hop in and take whatever last mini session someone has, even if you know that it's right in the middle of one of your children's nap times. Guys, it doesn't go well. It just very often doesn't go well unless you have the most agreeable child on the planet who is very go with the flow, whatever, doesn't care, okay? There are some children like that, but not most. And if you know that your child has a schedule and whatnot, try your best to schedule a session within that time frame. Now, most photographers are going to want to shoot sunrise, sunset. That's the best light. That's when they want to do it. But if you know that sunset means your kid is ready for bed and they're going to be cranky and these pictures are not going to turn out how you want, then pick a different time. Explain to the photographer, pick a different time. Most good photographers will be able to work in all kinds of lighting scenarios. Now, if you're trying to get a very specific location and look at noon, you know, if you're looking for the sun setting behind an old vintage truck in a field and you're asking them to go do that at noon, probably not going to happen. But if you can be flexible on the area in which you're, taking the pictures and stuff, then they can be flexible on the time as well. The next tip is to lower your expectations. Again, I just feel like I have to just keep repeating myself here that when you are taking a bunch of kids, a whole gaggle of children to be photographed, just understand that the more you have these expectations of what it should be, what it should look like, how everyone should behave, the more likely you are to be let down, because it's very rare that a photo session like this goes off completely without a hitch and that everything is perfect. Now, again, a good photographer is going to be able to squeeze some really good shots out of that. But just do your best to lower your expectations, not just of yourself and of, the photos and everything, but of your kids and your family as well. I don't know what it is, but I have just seen so many frazzled mothers pull up to photo shoots where it's like you could cut the tension with a knife, where they crawl out of a minivan and everybody looks like hostages. That's no fun, and you're setting the photographer up for failure at that point. If you're bringing her a bunch of kids that are like scared cats, like she's been yelling at us all day, I'm stuffed in this outfit I hate, I'm crying, I'm pulling at this, good luck. She's a photographer, not a magician. This is, just, we have to be realistic. And that brings me to the last tip, which is to be realistic. Be realistic based on the age of your child, the time of day that you're doing these photos. Just try to have very realistic expectations. And the other thing that I told this to parents, but I just don't feel like people ever really got it or listened. And over the years, I've just proven right time after time after time. Do not bring anything to the photo shoot that you do not want to be in the photos. So if little Molly loves her passy and you don't want her giant passy with the frog hanging off of it in the pictures, don't bring it out of the car. Leave it in the car. Don't bring candy, snacks, lollipop, all of that. If you bring that over to the shoot location, it's going to end up being in the photos, because little Molly is going to scream until you hand her that sucker, and then it's going to be this ridiculous game of pluck the sucker and try to take a picture real quick. She's going to have red all over her mouth, and parents will often be like, well, can you just Photoshop that out? I cannot Photoshop out an entire pacifier with a frog hanging off the end of it and still have your child have a normal looking mouth. Photoshop, again, it's not magic. Your photographer's not magic. Photoshopping, even the small things, can take a very, very, very long time. And often, especially if you're doing these fall family pictures or whatever, you're paying a lower price for a quick amount of time. And photographers can't spend hours and hours and hours Photoshopping everyone else's mistakes. Does that make sense? They're often already Photoshopping for you things that you don't even realize that they're doing. If your makeup has gotten messed up in some way, or there's a stain on your shirt somewhere, photographers are already handling that stuff without ever telling you or bringing it up or whatever. So adding more things on their plate, like wanting them to head swap people and remove objects from photos, remove objects from your kids' hands, it's just kind of crazy and not going to happen. So my advice is, whatever you want to roll up, have in the car, whatever, but leave it in the car if you don't want it to be in the photos. Okay, so that's it. Those are my 10 tips from a former photographer and mother. Just some tips for better family photos. I feel like over the years I learned these things the hard way, but again, just lowering those expectations, finding a photographer you mesh with, relax and have fun. You as mama will often set the tone for everyone. So if you can just relax, chill out, have fun, not be too stressed about it, it's going to affect everyone around you and it's going to be more fun. You don't want family pictures to be like the most miserable experience of your children's lives. So there's ways to make it fun, and I just think as moms, so much of it starts with us. So That's it for today's video. I hope that y'all enjoyed, and I will see you guys again soon. Don't forget to check out Rakuten. I will put the link down below in the description box. Get your $40 and get shopping.